Well, good afternoon, everybody. Another Monday in the books. That's fun, right? Did you have an awesome day? Did you have a productive day? Look at those thumbs ups, those smiling faces. I love it. I love it. So let's get through a couple of quick things, and then we'll get to any questions that you may have. But beforehand, let's do this. That to me is the fastest way not to have a second date. Okay, let's keep moving. What do we got? We got a whole bunch of things to take care of, and I do see some questions in the chat group, and we will get through those questions. Let's hit some of these other things first. First and foremost, I was a little concerned because I had asked 90 people this morning to send me their next action, and I only heard from 15 of you. So I was concerned that many of you were literally sitting in front of the computer waiting for this Zoom to start all day long from 9:20 this morning. So if you did not send me your action, I see some of you grabbing your phones now. It's kind of neat being Big Brother, watching what's going on. Make sure that you send me that next activity that you're going to focus on for the rest of the week to make sure that your income is where you need it to be in time. So any activity that you're focusing on, let's just make sure that we're holding each other accountable to getting those things done. Reminder about CE. Your CE is due May 31st. There are no extensions due to our current environment. So you have opportunity to finish your CE at home online. Lots of different places you can go. The CE shop is one. KeepMeCertified.com is another. Lots of different places you can go, or just Google CE and you should be set. So just remember that you have only another couple of weeks to get that done. License renewal is on time, and you need your CE before your license renewal can be sent in. So do make sure that you're diving in on that. Clear cooperation. Let's just a quick reminder about clear cooperation. What is clear cooperation? Anybody remember? Anybody know? Okay, so clear cooperation is the new NAR rule, new as of January 1st, that as of May 1st, this past Friday, will now be enforced by local MLSs. And clear cooperation states that any new listing that you take, regardless of whether it's an on-market, off-market, signed MLS, no MLS form, whatever the scenario is, the moment you start public marketing of that new listing, you have 24 hours, you have 1 day to get that in the MLS and make it available for everyone else. So for all intents and purposes, the days of exclusive listings where you can actually advertise them are over. And I'm sorry if that is upsetting to some of you. I didn't write the rule, I'm just telling you about it. And that is a reality in our world right now. So you can have things off market, you just can't market them to the public. You can market them one by one to buyers that you may know. You might call people in your database one by one. That's not considered public marketing. You can talk one-on-one to other agents in your office or other agents that you might know, that then has them go and one by one talk to buyers who might be interested in it. But the whole idea of, I'm going to take this listing, put it on my Facebook or pop it on my Instagram and see what happens for a couple of weeks, you cannot do that any longer. Someone asked me over the weekend, who'd know? Who'd know, and how would we get in trouble? And my answer to that is this. NAR knows our industry very, very well, and they are counting on each of you selling each other out. They are counting on self-policing here, so that when somebody sees something go up on Facebook and it's not in the MLS and they can't show it to their builder, you know, the lot that you just promoted on Instagram or on Facebook, they can't show it to their builder, you're going to get a complaint call. There are fines attached to non-cooperation with clear cooperation. My guess is that you'll get away with it for the first month or two, even though the grace period for 5 months has now, or 4 months has now kind of evaporated. My guess is that they might go light on you, but the NAR imposed fines are actually quite hefty. So just know that that's the way the world works now, and please live within those confines. Any questions on clear cooperation? Nope. Okay, good. Steve Scott, do you have some shift winners from yesterday?
Yes, I do. So everyone's been scrambling to get their shift books since Matt Levchenko gave you all homework to read something in shift for tomorrow. So 2 more today. So we have Stephanie Merrill Silk in Richfield and Hyacinth Natarajan in Sanford. So remember, guys, if you already have a shift book, either gift it to somebody else. That would probably be the right thing to do in the office who doesn't have one. So let me know. So Hyacinth, find me, okay? And find Dan or Rick to get yours up there. Stephanie, thanks.
Very good. Well, thank you very much for that. I know there were a lot of great opportunities today to listen to some awesome people. We had Matt Levchenko at 11. We had Jeannie and Todd at 1 o'clock. And then we had Diana Kokoska at 2 o'clock. Anyone have any ahas to share from any of those sessions today? I saw many of you on each of those sessions, so tell me what you learned. Share it with the rest of us.
Hey, Rick.
Hey.
I think, if I recall correctly, Diana said to be better and not bitter. I thought that was very good advice.
Yeah, indeed, right? You have a choice. You can be bitter or you can be better. Just choose better. I love that. Great aha. What else?
So I loved when Diana Kokoska said, focus and courage go hand in hand.
Focus and courage go hand in hand. Now is one of those times where courage is more important than ever, right? And it's in the small things that we do. Sometimes getting up and being on the 9 o'clock Zoom call is pretty courageous, right? It's depending on how the day before went and how your morning went. So make sure that you're continuing to move in the direction of taking those courageous steps. What else? Hi.
I liked a lot of things that Diana said. There's so much energy from her call this afternoon, and she said reset, restart, refresh, and reinvent.
Restart, refresh, and reinvent. Diana likes those. Is that all alliteration? Is that what that is? When it all starts with the same letter?
Yeah.
I love it.
Reset, restart, refresh, and reinvent.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What else, Debbie?
I was also like Diana's speech today, really energized and focused. Her morning affirmation, I can, I will, watch me.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely Diana, isn't it? I can, I will, just watch me. Brilliant. Anything else? Any other ahas from your day that you wanted to share?
I just thought the line that she said, I want, saying to your client, I want more for you than I want from you.
Yeah, right. It's always about others, coming from contribution. I loved the idea of don't be the best in the world, be the best for the world. Be the best for the world. What else, Dan?
I loved Matt's 3 questions to ask yourself each day, which is like, am I waking up and working like my job depends on it? Will I be proud of what I'm doing today, looking back in 90 days from now? And what can I do today to become the person that will take massive market share on the other side of this? I love those 3. And those were my paraphrases of his questions, obviously, because I can't write as quickly as he talks. So
yeah, that's awesome. The good news is he was on our Zoom, so we have him taped, so we can go back to listen to that and slow it on down. Speaking of taking market share, Steve Scott, can you just talk? No, huh? Let's see if we can. Huh? No, it looks like we lost him. He half
He's there. Steve, they're waiting for you.
No, it's okay. He's already signed off. He's fine. Unless he's on a different.
No, he's right.
He's definitely on, but we're not hearing him.
I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm here. What'd you say, Rick? I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted people to see your shirt.
Oh, see that?
Big territory. I love
Big
that.
territory. We're
Right.
doing it.
So when Dan said make sure you're doing everything you do to increase your market share, or whatever the paraphrase was, right? That's something that I want us all to really start thinking about. It's not just about taking a listing or finding a buyer. It's about creating an opportunity for yourself to be recognized and noticed in our industry. And it's all about capturing mind share and then taking territory and capturing market share individually and as a team, right? So I want you to start figuring that out. I want you to start looking at that. What is my market share? Where is if your main area of focus is Wilton, Connecticut, well, what's your current market share in Wilton, Connecticut? Do the math, look at the numbers. And it might be small today, but then what can you do from an activity perspective in the next 12 months, in the next 90 days, 4 times to increase that market share so that a year from now, if you are at 1%, you can be at 3%. See how that works? But focus on that, because that's when things start to shift. That's when things start to change in your business and in your world, when you are recognized as a player in an area, right? And every single one of you can capture your own personal market share. That all just contributes to the team's market share. Alrighty, any other ahas? So one of my big ahas for the day was this. There are now over 30,000 real estate agents registered for Pivot, which starts tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Right, guys? 2 o'clock?
Yes.
Yeah, right. And so over 30,000 people registered for that program. If you're not one of them, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Like, what do 30,000 people know that you don't know? Or what do you think you know that the other 30,000 need to find out, right? So don't just stop making up your mind and stop trying to figure out whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, or will I get one additional piece of information. Guys, the money that we spend on coaching, I mean, as businesses, right? We have a whole ton of us who coach, and it costs $1 bazillion to coach, especially when you're the one paying for 8 or 10 people to coach. And my expectation every single time that someone gets on a coaching call to make it worth my money is that someone will learn one thing and then implement it to make them better today than they were yesterday, which over time compounds to create opportunities for them to get better results. For $99, for 8 coaching opportunities plus 8 additional 8 seminar opportunities plus 8 additional coaching opportunities, that's 16 opportunities. What is that? Was that $6 a day or something like that? Again, I think it's a no-brainer. So stop worrying and stop wondering whether you should do it or you should not do it. If 30,000 other people are jumped into that program, you should be too. So stop thinking about it and just do it.
One other note on that. If you are anybody in this room competitive? Do we have any competitive people in this room right now? No, not so much. Okay, I didn't think so. But I'll let you know that, I've been talking to most of my phone calls the past week to agents outside of this office have been about Bold Pivot. And I have about 10 guests registered for Bold Pivot right now. So if you're not going to take it, guess who's going to, looking for that leg up? If it's not going to be you, certainly our competition is. So,
Yeah, and I second that, Dan. Totally second that. I've got just about as many and a couple more that are probably going to sign up tonight. They were blown away when I described it to them. So this is an opportunity that's at your fingertips, guys. I highly recommend you do it. 30,000 people.
Free.
Yeah, 30,000 people. That's twice the attendance at a National Association of Realtors convention that are taking this. This is the largest real estate course ever conducted.
And you know what? Here, it strikes me that kind of preaching to the choir here, because those of you who plug into these calls are the ones who went and registered like in the first 10 minutes. So from a leadership perspective, that's one of the things that I wrote down when Diana said it. Leaders are dealers in hope. Leaders are dealers in hope. So take a position as a leader in our industry and offer some hope to somebody outside of off of these calls, inside of our market center, who needs it, who needs that opportunity to plug back in and get some structure and focus if they haven't been plugging into our structure and focus. Just remember, just like any other opportunity that KWRI offers, we don't get a prize if we have the most people attend. That's not the point of this conversation. The point of the conversation is just to say, we've been doing everything that we can do for 6.5 weeks to make sure that you have what you need to create income and stay focused and keep your businesses moving forward. This is just another tool that we're throwing your way, and we would hate for you to miss the opportunity, come back a week later and find out all the feedback was awesome, and then not have that opportunity to dive in. So that's the only point of the conversation. All right, so a couple of things. I know we had some questions earlier in the chat box. I'm going to go back and take a look at those, but I do want to mention one thing about something came up over the weekend a couple of times about the PPP and unemployment and how those two things can mix. Someone said to me, you know, I'm not filing my unemployment claim because I got my PPP funds and you can't do both. And that is untrue. You can apply and be approved for both. What you can't do is double dip. You can't be receiving unemployment benefits while you're also paying yourself from your PPP benefits, right? That you can't do that. However, for many of you, there was no paycheck from when we closed down the office, like, you know, at the middle of March, through when your PPP funds arrived in the last couple of days. That you still have a valid unemployment claim for those few weeks that then has to stop because you'll be asked to report income, and with your PPP use, you'll be paying yourself now kind of that an income, and then if the PPP funds run out and this is still going on, you can bop back into your unemployment benefits. So just clarity around the fact that it's not that the two things can't be done. They just can't be done at the same time. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So let me just read these questions here. The conversion from .loop to command, will our current active listing inventory be uploaded in bulk, or will we need to upload documents one by one? I'm not sure I understand that question. I think the answer is you have to take care of getting your documents into command.
I already answered that, Rick.
Yeah, I'm Rick. I'm the good looking one.
Yeah. Yes, you can import your documents in bulk from .loop. You just need to do it one transaction at a time, and you need to create a separate opportunity for each transaction.
Got it. Okay. Oh, I didn't see. I wasn't scrolling down enough.
We will have access to our .loop documents, though.
You will have access to them, but you cannot add to them. You can't manipulate them anymore. You can view what's already there once the shutdown happens, right? So they're there and they'll be archived there forever and ever, amen, or at least forever long the contract says. I think it's forever and ever, amen. But the idea of the long-term idea is to have all of those archived things move over into Command and DocuSign. Again, I wouldn't hold my breath on that because I think it's a very ambitious idea that they have to do all of that. So yes, you can access your .looped files. You just can't start new ones, or my understanding is you also can't manipulate the ones that you've already started once the changeover happens. Guys, am I correct in that?
Yes.
So
okay.
Did
Are
the
people
change happen?
I'm sorry, Debbie?
Did the change happen already?
No, it did not. You have .loop for another week or so.
Right. So are we taking all our document for years and our .loop stuff from years and years back and putting them into DocuSign, or we'll always have access to the .loop so that we can download them as needed?
So the latter.
That's what I
First of all, you're not moving anything from .loop into DocuSign. If anything, you would be moving them
Command.
from .loop into Command. And I mean, you can certainly do that if you so choose. I don't think it's necessary or a great use of time. You will have access to those .loop files. Yes.
If you're going to do anything like that, if for whatever reason you don't trust that you're going to continue to have access to the .loop files, like your past history, I would recommend that you just download them to your computer, which you can download documents from .loop in bulk just by like downloading all documents, and then it will create one PDF. If you want to kind of have your own archive for your stuff that's in .loop right now, that would be my recommendation. However, what we're being told is that won't be necessary. Does that make sense?
Well, and there's another category as well called legacy that I thought was where everything was supposed to be going from .loop into opportunities in Command.
Yeah, you can do that, but you don't have to, is my point.
Okay.
There's no requirement for you to take your information from .loop and put it into Command for old files. If it's stuff that you're currently actively working with, and you're going to need to continue to get new new documents signed, like as the opportunity progresses, like as the transaction progresses, then yes, you're probably going to want to move some of those documents into Command so that you can continue your compliance forward, and then use DocuSign for any additional any additional paperwork that you need for electronic signatures, things like that. But there's no need for you to pull any old files that are already closed transactions into Command. There's no
You'll have access to them.
Exactly.
I see that Kim posted that .loop costs $22 a month to month, moving forward. You can certainly choose if you want to continue to use .loop as your paperless digital signature system. You can certainly choose to pay that. I do not recommend that because most of you use it from the perspective of submitting it to your MCA, and you can no longer do that. You cannot. So don't sign a contract with .loop thinking that if you keep using .loop, you can just send it to your MCA once you have signatures, because that is not the case. You have DocuSign as something that's part of your package already. I would just learn how to use that instead of diving in and continuing to use .loop, because you would only be able to use that to get digital signatures. You can't use .loop for what we've been using it for the past number of years, regardless of what .loop is telling you. I hope that's clear to everybody. Please don't sign contracts with .loop.
Also, thank you to Jeannie and Todd. They did an amazing seller strategy session. Great session. Ask lots of questions and get the signature, get the signed documents, get the listing. Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, thank you guys. We appreciate that. I heard really great things about that, that as well. All right, any other questions before we sign off for the day? Because I think that's all I see on the chat. Yes, no, maybe so? All righty then. Can you answer my question? I'm not sure I saw a question. So Jacqueline, tell me what question you have.
My question is, do I have to apply for a state unemployment first, BD9 in Connecticut, in order to apply for the federal one?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I can encourage you guys, listen to the 430s from most days last week, because there's a lot of different conversations that we had last week around as the federal one was coming out. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, go back and dive into the YouTube channel where all of our videos are archived, and listen to those updates, because there's a ton of information in all of that for you. All right, guys, have an awesome evening. Happy Monday. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, bright and early, for another day in week 7. Have a great one. Take care.